Hello, everybody. Welcome on the Lights on Data show. Today, we have the pleasure of hosting Niraj Dugar to talk and address a very important topic, data democratization. Welcome, Niraj.
Thank you very much, George. So glad to be here on the show.
Likewise, the pleasure is all mine. Now, can you please tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your expertise within this topic?
No, absolutely. First of all, I'm based out of Bangalore, India. I currently work at Shell India Market Private Limited as a CDO data manager for HR and corporate function. I have been working for almost 15 plus years in the IT industry across domains, and where data has been the common motivating factor, and still it continues to do. In my current role, I drive the data strategy, data management activities. I help operationalize quality data discoverability and availability for the functions. It's not only within my function, but beyond as well. And of course, which helps for the transformation, digitalization, and even personal productivity. So this is what I do.
Wow. Well,
And
there's no better person to address this topic than.
perfect. And very quickly, since I'm on the show, so absolutely thank you very much, George, for inviting me. I know that this is where I come with my personal capacity to share the knowledge with the audiences, to reach to the wider parts of the world where they see your show. Definitely something that I would be doing in my personal capacity today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we're very grateful for it. So, Niraj, data democratization, we keep hearing it about a lot. Some people say it's a buzzword. I feel that it's something very important to the business, to the data world. What is it?
Well, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say that it's entirely wrong that it's a buzzword. Yes, humans do a habit of coming up with the new words and phrases, which looks fancy, sexy, and you want to promote that. And this is how it's happening. But in the hindsight, if in the under the hood, if actually see, it's all about the data management activities that we do. And if packaged together properly, this is where you call it as a democratizing the data. So in my opinion, and I believe that there are many definitions out there which are absolutely correct, nothing wrong in that. But the way I envision data democratization is a process through which a well-governed, characterized, appropriately classified quality data is made discoverable and available for the rightful purpose. So that's what I call democratization of data. Data democratization, as I said, under the hood, it's all about the data management activities that we are talking about. So it complements or it gets complemented by the data management activities. So you think of data quality, you think of governance, you think of accessibility, and finally, the application of that data is what makes your data democratized, right? If I can give you an example, people, if they want to know how exactly it looks in the end. So very recently, we have been through pandemic, and you would know that in the response to that pandemic was the vaccination program by the different nations in the countries, and similarly in India. And with India, the population size that we have in India, getting the vaccination slots available to the general public and making the public sign up for the availability of those slots was a Herculean task, right? And so was the administering of the vaccine itself. So
I can only imagine.
what the government of India did. So they actually democratized the data. So what does it mean? They opened a portal and they actually published the entire data set, the curated, the quality data set of the availability of slots in the clinics and hospitals to the general public, to the developer citizens. They also made public the aggregated non-personal data of the people who were administered vaccines in a particular group, aggregated as per the rural areas, regions, states, and everything. So this they opened through an API endpoint. It's still present in the public domain as of today.
Mm.
And what the small startups, the scale-ups, you can think of major companies, drug companies, they started capitalizing on that. They started using that wonderful data, curated data, and they started making apps where automated booking of slots could happen, right, for the people. The drug companies started using that for the analytical purpose, for the insights, and where they wanted to penetrate more with their products, which was not very insightful in the last couple of years before the pandemic. So this is how data democratization works. And probably this would explain that what exactly data democratization is.
Thank you so much. Very clear explanation. And then what would be the benefit and why would companies care to do for those companies to do that within their own environment? How would that make a difference to the data scientist, to the BI developer, to the manager, to the data consumer?
This is a wonderful question, George. And I think it's just like asking, why should I care about my body?
Hmm.
Why should I care about the different organs? Just like organs is an asset to the body for the proper functioning of the body, I see data as an asset, which, if taken care, it will give you a competitive advantage over others. And you go one step further by democratizing that, right? So always think when I say democratization, the data management activities underneath that. So democratizing that asset would actually, in a way, it would truly, you would see innovative digitalization becoming a practice culture in your. So this is where data plays an important role. And I keep saying that digitalization is nothing but data. So it's all data under the hood. Um, Accessing a quality governed data, it's always time consuming for the data scientist or any data citizen who wants to use for the rightful purpose. And now think of it, if you can actually make that time shorter by democratizing and packaging that data properly with all the qualities and governance and the characterization classifications available in that package, that would, you're already winning with that, right? That's your winning strategy for the company or the individuals who want to do that. And plus, it's very important because I always believed, and I truly believe, that any company or a person can actually boost their learning and development through availability of data by
Mhm.
using the right data. The companies truly want to boost their learning and development culture or the strategy. This is where you start. This is where you start democratizing the data, making it available, proper
Mhm.
data with which people, your staffs, can actually capitalize and leverage on that for their own personal or community learnings, or even providing the learning offerings to the entire community. So that's how I feel that's very important.
Thank you, Niraj. So definitely there's a lot of pros. I can already think of some cons just because that's my nature to look at the other side of the coin too. But I can definitely understand and notice that the benefits really outweigh the cons here. But what are
Indeed.
some of your tips, best practices for organizations to go on this journey the right way and
No,
avoid
absolutely.
avoid the cons as much as possible?
No, indeed. So I think everything comes with a best practice. It's just a matter whether we do practice or not. So I think I can add another question to that: what the companies or the people should start or progress, or truly use those best practice to practice their
Definitely.
own aspects in their own companies. So I think it starts with strong governance. I think there is no escape out of it. So unless you set the accountability of the data, it's not going to work. That's the fundamental. That's where you start crawling before running.
That's music
Um,
to my ears, by the way.
Absolutely. And I think one of the best practice, as well as this is where I would advise to start a progress. It's just not talking about data, not just producing the academic papers on the data. It's actually
Mhm.
doing. So start doing the POCs, start doing the pilots with a very small data set, or which is widely used in your organization, or data as a product, a new again buzzword, I would say, maybe next for your topic. Use that and do the POC and find out how this is actually helping your organization to progress ahead. And there are always other avenues, like, for example, test this outcome of this process through the hackathons. I think this is the most wonderful way. Just make the data, democratize the data, make it available, good quality data, non-personal data to your general public, to your general staff, and ask for hackathon, go for a hackathon, see how innovative ideas come out of that. And that's worth taking it forward. And finally, I think I shouldn't miss this because, as I said, and I will be repeating myself, that democratization is only possible when you truly make data discoverable. Yeah. And you make
Mhm.
it available to every single data citizen. And it's you enable them to do it yourself or do IT yourself. Right. So they start doing. So business people who don't even speak technology, let them do it themselves. There are many technologies available in the market, no code, low code. But what is missing is the right data. So
Mm.
make that available And this is where you will start winning. This will be the part of your winning strategy, of your company, I would say. And you would start seeing the sweet fruits of your incremental success.
Great advice. Thank you so much, Niraj Dugar, for joining us today and shedding the light on data democratization. I do encourage everybody to follow you on LinkedIn, check out your content, and keep on learning from you.
Thank you very
Really being
much.
in that
And I think
vicinity.
no, absolutely, George. And I think you are doing a wonderful job. You're doing a wonderful thing, making this knowledge bites available to the audiences. And I think it's so good. Every day, by looking at your bites, your Lights on Data show, I think it's so much to learn. Thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you. The pleasure is all mine. Honor is all mine. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Check out next week's show. Until then, put the lights on data.